just to give you an idea of the power and scares of social media. So I experienced something in Toronto. At the time, actually, I was still living in Windsor, and I had booked a show at the Tavern in Toronto. And I went there, and some random guy, I'd never seen him in my entire life, but he came up to me and genuinely thought he knew who I was and that we were friends. And he had followed me on Instagram, and he came up to me saying, "It's David from Instagram." Like, that's what he was saying. Like, he was so adamant that, like, we're friends and, like, we know each other. And I was like, that was, that moment for me was really scary, because I had finally realized, like, truly, you're putting yourself out there all the time. And to strangers, to the entire world. And not only are you doing that, but you're telling people where you are, and they're showing up. God
damn it, I asked for a thing and it happened.
Listen, like, that moment for me was eye-opening.
Did you have anybody else with you at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and I had my whole band. If you ask my band guys, they'll tell you what happened. And funnily enough, this guy ended up being fine. Years later, he shows up to my gigs still, and he's actually just like a fan. He's very nice, but however, when it first happened, I was like just mortified. Like it finally hit me where I was like, you gotta be careful, because these people, like, they're random and you have no idea who they are. And he thought we knew each other. Like, he was very like, we're friends. No, I don't know who you are.
Wow, it's funny.
Very scary.
Because I've never had anything like that, but because of the show, I get people that'll come up to me, and I love it. I never have a problem with it. I want to meet anybody who watches. I'm amazed anybody spends any fucking time watching this shit, right? So, I can barely sit through it, and I'm forced to. So, but
that's so nice. Oh, God.
But I really do appreciate those conversations, but they come up in so many strange ways. Like, sometimes people come up to you like they're your best friends, like they've known you forever. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like, I've had people come up to me and start by telling me how much they love the show, follow that up with a bunch of things that tell me they've never really seen the show, and then end the conversation by telling me what a piece of shit I was. And it was just kind of like,
thanks.
Oh, thanks
for coming.
That was fun. All right.
You know what? And so on that point, I've again sort of coming back to social media. For me, I've started receiving some, like, messages from people that think, they should share their opinion with me about what I'm doing and what I'm doing wrong, and that's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. But there's a way to do it, and I get everyone has an opinion about stuff, and that's great. But one thing you need to have is thick skin.
Tact.
And that. But you need to have thick skin. You can't people are gonna judge you and hate what you're doing.
Everybody has an idea to make what you're doing better. Yeah.
Everyone thinks they know, and the bottom line is, unless you're in the situation yourself and you're the artist and you're the one going through everything, I tell you, it's not a walk in the park. But if you love it, you do it, and that's the bottom line. You have people all around you telling you all the time what they think you should be doing and what they don't like about what you're doing and what they think you should be doing, and you just, thanks. That's all you can do, and you have to just be yourself and be okay with that.
Yep.
And that was hard for me, even growing up, like I said, being who I was and just accepting that, and finally coming to the realization that you can't please everybody. And that was hard for me. I was like a people pleaser growing up, and now I feel so much different now. I have a huge change that I've noticed.